Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Pearls of Wisdom. I have a card reading for you today. So I will share the screen right away so you can see the cards that I was drawing from the Dakini Oracle. Now, what we have here is kind of a very typical situation for the moment that we are living in. We have here the self-preservation. We see that is a mummy that was kind of prepared with all the credentials of a high priestess. So, and it does not matter if you are man or woman. The topic is for us all the same because in the soul, the male and the female is balanced. It's just like now when we are in a physical body, we have chosen a body as a woman or a man because that is helping us to clear the karma, to help our ascension process the best way, which is connected with past karma. So what is happening here now when we are moving forward is like we have to kind of unravel that self-preservation so that the wisdom of the ages can come up again, can come forth again to what we truly are. Now, this is something which is sometimes very difficult because during all this hundreds and hundreds of years living in a false matrix, our brain have been programmed in such a different way that we do not even recognize the true wisdom anymore. The wisdom that is not that was in the past unfiltered and not cloaked by any mind program of good and bad. Now, in the past, when we go really far, far back, I cannot give you exact numbers of years, but I know it's even beyond the fall of Atlantis. And probably also before Lemuria, when those archons have taken over and have started to implement the false matrix to make human beings their slaves. And I did explain that before, but just to give you a very brief, because those who have put God away, they said, we are gods, we don't want to have to do anything anymore with the divine source, with the divine who we are. And they went into darkness, followed their ego about power, about control. And the moment they went into the darkness, they did not have the creation power anymore, because for the creation power, you need the light. You need to have that, what we call the divine source within. And this is actually what we're talking just now in the astrology course that I'm teaching about, moving forward to reconnect again with that divine source and sky view astrology, meaning working with the real star constellations. That gives you a very, very clear picture where you have to look to free yourself, to redeem yourself from the false program. It is very clearly in there because, again, the astrology does not show you who you are, but it shows the curriculum of your life. And I think this is so important to see the difference, that we not fall for all that illusion that also most of the New Age and spiritual religion, whatever, they are all hijacked. They are all infiltrated by what you have to do. And you know what? You can be sure when there is fear involved, if you don't do that, you don't get it. And there is very often many teachers are working that way out there. You have to do this, and this is the only way, and so on. But the only way is you. The only way is if you dive into that time before the fall, when you have been the priest or the this, where you have been initiated. And all of us who are, at least those people who are listening to such programs, definitely have. So we have all that ornate of the initiation already within us. But then this false matrix, that false matrix is actually representing the bondage that is here, and the sand and the storm in the back is like the covering up of the truth, the covering up of where we go. And you see here, you don't see it very well in these pictures, but here would be the heart. Also the hands are folded on the heart here. And this indicates again that only through the heart wisdom we can move forward. And I have also talked, many times about chakras, that there even is something not in divine order. We don't need to close and open any energy centers, because the main energy center is in our heart, and we have two more centers, the gut and the brain, or the head. This is like a number 8, an infinity symbol that is the major energy hubs within our body. And these are the 3 brains that we have, like the brain in the head, and the heart brain, and the gut brain. And this is how we are guided towards wisdom and in our life to move forward. But now we are all just focused on the head brain, which is controlled and which is programmed by good and bad. Good and bad is beyond, polarity is beyond good and bad. So I use the word duality for good and bad for the program, and I use polarity for the natural yin and yang. Well, we need to have yin and yang. We have to have 2 sides, otherwise we cannot experience. And we can see all the words like experience, existence. They come like X means we step out, stepping out of unity into polarity. That is the divine step that the divine within us has chosen to go out to have an experience. And this is a human experience that we are having right now. And again, please don't make the mistake that you think that men or women are different. We just experience things different because of the chemistry of our body. Now, what is here? That means that the wisdom that is already here, that we don't need to find anywhere outside. So the more you start to listen to yourself, to find that deep knowledge within through the heart truths and the gut truths, not so much through the mind, but the mind will help you to comprehend afterwards, to innerstand when you put it all together. And then you have also, when just look at the infinity symbol, that number 8. This is a circle twisted. So if we untwist it, we have the Holy Trinity that is in our body, that is all the knowledge, the wisdom to help us to experience life. And we need to detox the brainwash. We need to unlearn practically everything you have learned. And I am confronted with this day by day in the moment. Tell me that even things that I thought, okay, for example, this is healthy or this is not. It's everything more or less what is, for example, fruit juice. Fruit juice, especially when you're older, say, like in this video, they were talking about after 60, that is a pure sugar bomb. And it can cause diabetes. It can cause all kind of stuff in your body if you don't combine it with some other food. But the best is to avoid it, because it is as toxic as a soda drink. But we have the feeling, because it is said on the packages that you buy those, it's healthy, it's pure, no sugar added, all that stuff. But the sugar of the fruit is also sugar, and it affects our body and really makes people sick. unless you work out for hours a day and you really need those calories, you use it, you run, you work very hard in the garden or whatever. But when you're older, you don't do that anymore. Most likely, you don't do that anymore, and that's okay. Now, the second card here is the ally. Now, this is also in the tarot, that would be the devil. Now, with the devil, remember the word, the devil, devil and evil is the opposite. When you turn it around, evil and life is the same. One is, it's like the polarity of itself. It's the mirror of itself. So life is moving forward, like evil would be moving backwards. So life is creation, evil is destruction. And I mentioned just also when we look at the world, like the word that to move forward, we talk about symbols. And this is very significant in astrology, that you can read the symbols, that you understand the story that is behind it. So the symbols, the word in Greek, symbalein, means putting together. And there is another word meaning tearing apart. And the word for tearing apart is diabalein. Now we have here the diabolo, the devil. And this is, again, we have something that we put together, the positive way, the creation, to put things together, to make something whole. And then we tear it apart. This is the destruction. And this is within us, all of us. And the ally here is, it helps us to move beyond our raw energy. Now, this is when you look at the image here, that a more or less reptilian image here, and you know that we also have a reptilian brain. This is connected with our physical survival. And this is very much connected with the brain in the head that program that this is bad, but it's not. When it shows up here as an ally, it means that is here to help us. Now, what we have to look at again to really understand what I'm talking about here is that our life is a projection. We project the world outside. This is my personal projection that I have in my personal environment, plus the projection of whole humanity, what is happening in the world. But in fact, what I have to care for is my personal projection, because if something happened in Alaska or in New Zealand or whatever, I'm not there. I don't have part of it. So what I have to do to come to find my own inner peace, my balance, my personal ascension journey, I have to face what is right in front of my nose, what is right here in my life. And here I want to repeat this again, is what you resist persists, what you look at disappears. So we have a lot of things that are coming up in our lives that we have just right in front of our nose, problems, challenges. Of course, these are the so-called negative things. The other things don't bother us. So if there are challenges around us, for example, you might know, some of you, that I just have been facing my family. That was quite a challenge, I can tell you. And I had to look at things that I kind of avoided before when they were not here. I had not have contact. I had contact with them, but I haven't seen them for a long time. So I was really confronted with it. And I had to come to the point to say, that's none of my business. These are adult person who can choose whatever they want, and it hurt like hell to step back, because certain things, they were really destructive. And this is what this is about. We have to move beyond our ego expectation, also the expectation how other peoples are supposed to be. But everybody has his or her own journey, and we cannot go that journey. We cannot walk in the shoes of somebody else. So whatever comes into our life now as a challenge, as even something you hate, and the more you hate it, the worse the problem is. The more you reject it, the more you create resistance, and it will come back and push at you again and again and again, till you face it and solve that challenge, and you are at peace with it. Once you look at whatever is coming up, um, and it's especially those things that are the negative things. See, that is the ego, the pride, the jealousy, whatever is all connected here. That is what is also issue from ourself, from within ourself, that we have to get rid of old programming. Like, for example, when you have a job, so your program is, first of all, you go through school, and the whole brainwash through the whole school is make you an employee, that you work for somebody, and well, you get the salary. But you know what? There is some kind of boss or somebody up there who really garnish the cream of the milk. So you have only the skim milk, they have the cream on top. Now, most people are okay with that. But when you look at the situations of jobs today, how many people have even to work two jobs to make a living? You can see how sick that program is. Now, we are in that program that we have to do that, and we have to better us and better us and better us to get more money, to make a more decent living, maybe to afford a higher a better car, or a higher apartment in the high-rise building or whatever. But this is not what makes us happy. And you know that, and I know all of you know that from experience. Once you have reached the goal that you dream of for a long time, there is a void afterwards. You have reached it. You have maybe reached that, you have bought that new car, or you have that new apartment, and you move in and the view is beautiful, or whatever it is. But there you sit on that window, and are you more happy, really? So see, that's the point, and that is about that program, and that is about what we have to overcome, that we have to find that all within us, that sabotage programs that are within our mind, so we cannot move forward into a higher consciousness. And once we do that, and we face every day whatever's coming, we forgive also. It's about forgiving, but not just with words and just like that. And one thing that helped me very much to do that is I see that even if I'm angry at a person, or that person really let me down, or somebody I really trusted betrayed me most, I have not walked in that person's shoes. Even whatever happened to me, I cannot really completely understand what is happening in that person. I might not know the karma behind it. I don't know the familiar situation or whatever is behind it, that a person starts to act like that. So the only way to move forward is to let go and to say, okay, I have not walked in your shoes. I don't know why you do that. I know that you do it and you are probably not happy with it. I wish you peace. So this is something that really helps you to move forward, to move beyond and not be angry at others. Now, what we have here, the last card, are the jewels in the island of Jewel, that is, as you can see, beyond the clouds. And see, this is also, here we are now, the preservation is underneath the cloud in the sandstorm, and it cannot free itself in the moment. It's all the wisdom that is here, but only through facing our ego programs, our judgment, like this will be duality. Then we move into the non-judgmental polarity of yin and yang, breathing in, breathing out. And you cannot see breathing in is good and breathing out is bad, or opposite, vice versa. So it's both part of that polarity that we need to go. And we have this island of jewels above the clouds, and the clouds represent our mind. Now, when we move beyond that program, beyond that brainwash that is present since hundreds of years, And we unlearn everything and become, there is also that saying that you have to become again like a child, that this innocence, and the child represents to be in the here and now. So just judge from the moment. Of course, we still judge. Like I have, for example, to choose, do I want to eat vegetables, or do I want to eat ice cream, or do I want to eat this or that? I have to judge what is best for my um, body, for my stomach in the moment. And this is the kind of judgment that is not really connected to the program. But again, the program tells us a lot of things are good for us, which are not. So when we are within the consciousness, our consciousness is lifting up beyond those dark clouds into the jewels. And these jewels means purified knowledge, purified inner standing, not understanding. You're not standing under those clouds anymore. They are inner standing within us. And that means that is also the moment you start to integrate all the three centers that you have, your intuition, your inspiration will work perfectly. The inspiration more to the heart, the intuition more to the gut. That is that slow feeling that's coming up. And they are helping us to see at any time what is right for us and what is wrong for us in that concept, and not in the concept of judgment. So once we lift our consciousness into the pure, refined energy of the jewels, that means that we find that enlightenment, that is that path of ascension. And ascension just means to move, to ascend to a higher energy frequency. And from there, we will move on a higher timeline. So what is happening in the moment? We are facing our fears, our negative programs, our judgments, and all that is part of the brainwash. That does not mean you have to have people in your life who are destructive. And the moment, believe me, the moment you shift your consciousness, those people, they just will kind of vanish from your life, because it's not fun to play with you anymore, because it's like, if I don't blow into the sail, that boat is not moving anymore. So it's not that you need to have people getting out of your life. You just change yourself, and the affinity of others is not here anymore, because you don't have the same wavelength literally anymore. Okay. So I hope that helps you a little bit to understand the situation we're in the moment. And just think about it. What is it what you resist? Look at it. I have several cases lately that they resist, like, I don't have a mobile phone. I don't want to have anything to do with AI. I don't want to have to do this and that. And you know what? Without internet, first of all, I couldn't do this video anyway. And I just rely on a mobile hotspot from my phone. Otherwise, I could not do that. I could not get the information. So judge again, internet, whatever we have, the modern technology, we can use it positive and negative. If you are on chat all the time and look all these videos, and you go hours and hours and hours and spend it, like, kind of waste your time to have a secondhand life, because you are sitting there and you enjoy life of others in whatever way, this is definitely destructive. But if you use it for information, then it can be very, very helpful and very positive. So don't judge. Look what is in your life. Look what you really need to move forward. What would help you? And if we want to go to the point to have free energy and a lot of other help that is actually promised for the new age, the organic matrix that we're moving on, and we just move to another matrix. This is, without matrix, we cannot exist. So we have to ask ourselves, what can help us without being attached? And this is also like the Buddhist philosophy, that you can have everything, you can enjoy anything, Just don't be attached. That's the key. And that's the key in this card too, that show very clearly. Once we move beyond those programs of ego, of brainwash, we will find the way forward into higher frequency, a higher energy, which is liberating us from the clutches of duality, of the judgment of good and bad. I wish you a great week. I will have another moon reading soon again. Looking forward to see you again. Bye-bye for now.